Hello everyone, welcome to this session. Welcome to this very important session on how to make short notes for revision. I know that you guys are preparing for GATE 2021 and Engineering Services exam and many other exams. So you must be thinking about how should short notes be prepared. But if you are not thinking that you have to prepare the short notes, then also this video is very important. In both the cases, whether you are thinking about making the short notes or not thinking about making the short notes, this video is important. First of all, I would like to tell you that making the short notes makes your efforts very easy. It makes your preparation for any exam. It basically makes your preparation 20 or it enhances the preparation by 20-30%. Why? Because without short notes or without making the short notes of whatever material, whatever topic, whatever lectures you have studied, you will just end up in going through those long lectures and going through those 300-400 pages long textbook and books and material. So every time you cannot go into that, every time you cannot revise it from that, right? So you should have a handbook of your short notes, which anytime you can carry with you, which anytime you can revise from that before giving your mock test, before writing your previous year, right? So short notes are very important. So in this session, I will tell you how to make the short notes for perfect revision, especially those who are going to write their exam. And I know that this is a Diwali week, so I would like to wish everyone a very happy Diwali. So let's begin the session. Before we begin, this is a small introduction about myself. I am Vikas Bhadoria, that is my name. I have 5+ year teaching experience, did my MTech in thermal engineering from Thapar University, which is in Patiala through my GATE score. I have mentored more than 10,000 plus aspirants for different exams like GATE, Engineering Services and SSC-JEE. My area of expertise includes subjects of fluid mechanics, thermal applied and heat transfer subject. So before we start this important video lecture, before we start this session, I would like to wish everyone a very amazing Diwali, very wonderful Diwali. I hope you all have celebrated it and I hope you are making the best of your Diwali. Okay, the best of your Diwali means I know that you might be not be having your classes and job and all, so you must be you have got sufficient time for your preparation also. So in this Diwali vacation, what you can do is you can plan your further preparation strategies. That how you have to further go after the Diwali vacation. You have to basically make the short notes. You have to give the mock test. You have to solve the previous year. Whatever strategy you have, just utilize this time also. Okay, so just utilize this auspicious occasion of Diwali for make your preparation of exam also. Along with that, celebrate it, be happy, be safe. Okay, so let's begin the session. The first question is, what is a short notes? You can call it a short notes. You can call it as a basically a handbook of notes which you can use, you can carry with you anywhere, because and that contains all the subjects which you can carry with you anywhere, containing all the subject material, all the subject important concepts, important formulas, important points, containing all subjects material, all subjects, important points, important formulas and all, right? So that is called short notes. The first question is, you are right now preparing for GATE 2021 exam, which is in February. Maybe some other exams which may be in January, maybe in March, maybe in April, right? So in this way, definitely this is basically the before start of 2021, you have to basically prepare for different exams. Now I hope that most of you are already have done their preparation. Already you have gone through the lectures, gone through the subjects, gone through the subject through some textbook, through some study material, or maybe you have joined some paid courses, maybe of Gradeup, maybe also of some other institute, right? So short notes are very important. Why they're important? First thing is when to prepare short notes. When should you prepare the short notes? So short notes should be prepared after the revision of the subject. After you have done the complete revision of the subjects, then you should make your short notes. That short note should include in previous year questions. Start preparing short notes. After doing the revision of all the subjects, after solving the previous year questions, then start preparing the short notes. Why? Because when you have done the revision of all the subjects once, from your notes, from your all your notes, whether it is a 300-page note or whether it is textbook, whether it is a lecture, video lecture. So if you have once revised everything and after revision, if you have solved the previous year question, now your brain has got everything. You know that which formula is important, which is a concept which is important that you have to put in your short notes, right? Because do not be in a habit of just copying from a big textbook. That means, let us say we have a book or we have a material which is having 300 to 400 pages. Now it's not that you are making your short note from this. You are making your short note, and this short notebook, it is also of the same page. Let us say it is of 200 pages. Then what is the use of that? You don't have to copy it. You don't have to reduce some important point, some concepts and just put down some important one, right? You have to make your short note in such a way that when you revise it, everything looks very easy for you to revise, or everything becomes like see, you should not put concept in your short notes. Concept should never be put in the short notes. Only important points, only important statement, only important formula, because concept should be in your mind. You cannot put the concept of everything what you have studied in the short notes. Yes, you can write those concepts in your own word, in your own keywords, in your own important bullet points in the short notes. Yes, that you can do, but do not write the concept that this is this thing, and do not write statement, big statement, big paragraph. No, that is not required in the short notes. Okay, short notes should only contain the bullet points. I will tell you in this session how to make the short notes. Okay. So after you have done the revision of the subjects, after you have solved the previous year, now you have very much clarity that what topics are important, what are the important particular things, important points which have to be written in the short notes, which are asked in the exam after solving the previous year question. You will have the idea of that. So by the time you will have a fair idea of the type of question asked in the exam. If you prepare before revision, now if you make your short notes before the revision, that like some people say that when we used to take classes, some students say, sir, we are making the notes. That is fine. You should make the notes. But what happens in that case? You are watching a lecture, right? In that lecture, some concept will be delivered. Obviously, some concept will be given by the faculty. Now, in that time, when you will be writing the things, writing down the things, when you write down the things, then neither you will focus on the concept, neither you will be able to make a very good, perfect short notes, because you will be basically copying it, doing nothing more than that. So, when you watch any video lecture, when you study any textbook, just study it. Okay. After you have studied it, after you have again revised it, and you have solved the previous year, then you know that, okay, these are some important points. You know everything about the subject. For example, you have revised the subject of thermodynamics. Let us say I'm from mechanical background. You have revised the subject of thermodynamics. Now you know that what are the points which are important in the subject of thermodynamics, from which regular repeated questions are asked. So you now know everything. Now you have to just write it in your own words. Like you write summary of a particular big paragraph, you write the summary of that in the same manner. If you prepare before revision, then you will end up putting too many unnecessary things on it, and it won't serve the purpose of short notes. So if you will make your short notes before revision or before solving the previous year questions, then you will simply copy everything and put that in the short notes. You are not going to learn anything from there. Okay. So there are some important points that I have to tell you. It is very necessary to prepare the short notes of your own. This is very, very important. Let us say some of your friends says that, or you might find some in some Telegram group or maybe somewhere else in the Facebook, that there's a faculty, there's a student who has make very good short notes. Okay, so you will think that let me just occupy that, let me just take that short notes and I will study from there. No, short notes are like your own handbook, which you prepare from your own understanding of the concepts, or which a particular person has prepared from his own understanding. Now, if you just simply take the short notes of some other person, you will not able to understand it in that way in which he has written. Okay, neither you will get more advantage of that. Okay, to revise a subject from the class note, it will take more time, as we need to turn 300 400 pages of a single subject. So if you think that you will not make the short notes, you will revise it from the class notes, then it is very difficult, because in that case you have to basically a class note of a particular subject. One subject note contains 300 400 pages. So it is not possible every time to go into those 300 400 pages, especially when you have to revise 1 week or 15 days before the exam. In that time, you cannot go through those 300 400 pages textbook or class notes, because you are having 12 to 13 subjects, I guess. So for 12 to 13 subjects, you cannot go through all the class notes of all the subjects. While preparing the short notes, always keep in mind that when you want to refer to the subject, when you want to revise it. So this basically, it is very important that you should always understand, that is your understanding that should be developed, that what you want to put in your short notes, what are the important things, or what you want to revise it. It's not that every time you are just mugging it up. No, you know that what are the important points that is important you have to revise, or what you have to put in your short notes. When you study any subject for the first time, try to note down all important points along with the formula and key points. This strategy is especially for the beginners. So suppose you are in BTech third year and fourth year, and you want to prepare your short notes. For example, you are studying a particular subject. Now, whatever topics, whatever concepts you think that they are important, firstly just make a rough notes, write everything in that. Okay, so firstly you need to write down everything in that, whatever important formula and key points you remember. This may take time, but believe me, it will benefit you. Avoid the bookish knowledge. You should not write the bookish language, or basically whatever is written in the book, do not copy it as it is. Try to write it in own words, like you use slang words, right? Like you use short keywords while typing WhatsApp messages, right? So in the same manner, when you make your short note, that should be very short, precise, in your own language. Like you must have seen that handwriting of a doctor, right? So it is only doctor who understands his writing. It is said that, right? So in the same manner, when you make your short note, that should be based on your own understanding, on your own keywords. You can use abbreviation, you can use short words. Okay. Whenever you want to revise any subject, revise the short notes of that subject. Okay, that will be an advantage. Suppose you want to revise subject of fluid mechanics. So you will see that, okay, you have got a short note of fluid mechanics that is of 20-30 pages. Now it is very easy for you to go for those 20-30 pages and revise it from there, right? When you solve previous year and practice test series, if you find any missing points or formula, update it in the sheet or short notes. This is very important point, my dear. When you solve any previous year question, suppose you are solving previous year or test series, right? So in that time also you will find that there is some concept which you have not put in your short notes, which is actually very important, which is repetitive, which is very important formula. Then you can do not just leave it that this formula is important, I have remembered it. No, you will not remember it. You just write that in the short notes with the bullet highlighted points. Okay, because that is also very important. That is how you have to utilize your test series and previous year. Because while solving the test series, you might come across some important theory question, or maybe some important numerical question, which you have when you are solved, you have come across a new formula, or maybe some different type of approach for solving the question. So you can write that approach in the short notes. Again, you can add that in your short notes with a new basically different kind of pen, or you can highlight it. Okay. Make a habit to revise only the short notes and solve the problems. So when you will come to a point, for example, now you have come to a point before GATE exam where you just have to revise the short notes after making your short notes, of course, and after revision of short notes, solve the test series, solve the full length previous year papers. Okay. So when you will do that, this will boost your confidence on your short notes and will help you improve your short notes. So that is one important point. At the date of the exam approach, your short notes will have all the information that you need for your exam. So when 15 days before the exam, you think that, okay, I want to revise everything. So yes, you have got your short notes. Just give proper 3 to 4 hours daily and just do the revision. Now everything will be in your mind. All the concepts, all the formula, all the important points will be in your mind. So everything in your mind, you have done the practice of the previous year in test series. What best you want from that? Definitely you are going to perform well in the exam. You can revise your short notes of all the subject a day before the exam, which of course will increase your confidence, which you will require at that time. Day before exam or 2 or 3 days before the exam, you should start basically when you will have multiple revision. Now day or 3 days before the exam, 2 days before the exam, the revision of all the subjects will take place in just one day. It will not require more than that because you have already know everything. You know everything. One more important point. One day before the exam, do not get confused. Do not, get excited that if some of your friend calls you that, do you remember that concept or do you know that concept? And then you will think that, okay, I have just not written that concept, or maybe I have forgotten that concept to write in that short notes. Then you again start studying that, again you start writing that. Okay. So one day before the exam, just rely on your short notes. Do not get deflected or do not get diverted by the idea that someone tells you that this concept is important, this formula is important. Do not get diverted. Okay. Just be confident on your short notes, revise from that and go for your exam. So now the important point is what should be there in the short notes. You must be thinking, sir, what we should write in the short notes. Although I have already mentioned everything, but let me tell you. Basically, your short notes should be prepared in such a way that by revision of your short notes, you will have a feeling that you have revised the whole subject. Okay. That means whole subject means starting from the first chapter to the last chapter, your short note should contain the keywords. Okay, everything should be written in such a way that the short note of a 400 pages book is prepared in just 20 to 30 or maximum 40 pages, not more than that. Okay, so when you will just go through the short notes, after you revise it, you will think that you have revised everything from the first chapter to the last chapter. Important formulae and important points which we think can be asked in the exam. How can you think that can be asked in the exam? Because you have already practiced the questions. When you practice the previous year question, you will come across, you will understand that, okay, these are the points which are important, which have been asked in the exam. These are the concepts, these are the topics from which questions have been asked. So now you will understand, you will have an understanding, okay, these are the topics which I have to put in my short notes in particular. Important points or difficult formula of the previous year question which you feel might be needed at the last moment. When you will solve the previous year question, you might come across some important formula, maybe some difficult questions which contain some new strategy, some different kind of strategy. So that strategy, that steps, that should also be written in the short notes. Okay, for this kind of question, this is how the question has to be solved. Okay, this is how the approach will be started. Okay, because in your GATE exam, the similar question will not be asked, but similar concept will be asked, that is for sure. Some new important concepts or difficult formula of the test series, other sources which were totally new for you and you will need to revise at the last moment. Maybe when you are solving the test series, sometimes you come across a very good question, maybe some difficult question, which you find very difficult to solve or you find new. So that thing should also be updated in the short notes. Whenever you want to revise any subject, revise only the short notes and then solve the problems. Make a habit of revision of short notes at a regular interval of time. Every Saturday, Sunday, whenever you are free, Just give 2 to 3 hours for particular subject or 1 or 2 subjects and revise your short notes. So be in a habit of daily revising the short notes. Like we say that daily you should have one apple, daily we should have 1 or half an hour of exercise. So very similar to that, daily you should revise your short notes also. Okay. One more important points regarding the short notes. Allot specific time to each subject according to its weightage in the exam and then start preparation. So every subject, different subjects have got different type of weightage. For example, your thermal and applied has got a weightage of thermal and applied total has got weightage of, for example, for GATE exam, it has got weightage of 12 marks around. And for engineering services and other exam, it has got weightage of 50 to 60 marks, right? Similarly, on more than 60, you can say 80 or 90 marks also. For SOM, it has also got a very good weightage for GATE exam. I'm talking about GATE exam in particularly, if you say that, because it is very near, it is in February now. So for strength of material, it has got weightage of 8 to 11 marks, right? For production, these are some high weightage subjects. So these high weightage subjects are definitely more important. Okay, so extra care will be taken for that, 15 to 16 marks. Very similar to that, some other subject, theory of machine also, TOM, it contains weightage of 8 to 10 marks, right? So these are some important high weightage subjects. So these should be given proper time for revision also and for making the short notes, because you should not leave any point from these subjects. These are a high weightage subject. Make a schedule of your preparation on your own by preparing a chart like Gantt chart. You should make a schedule. Okay, at this time you have to revise this subject. At this time, after revision, you have to solve the questions of this subject. So you have to make a Gantt chart, like a flow chart, where you will be allotting the subject. You will be allotting the particular schedule that you have to make the practice the question. You have to revise the notes. So this schedule should be prepared. While studying any subject, first go through the theory and then start picking keyword. When you study any subject, first you study the theory, and then from that theory you should make your keywords. What is a keyword? Keyword means important words in your own, which you think that these are important, and you should write it in your own words. Like we do in publishing our papers. In the papers also, when you publish, you must have seen any research paper. In that also we use keywords. These are some important words of a particular, which are very important from a particular theory. So you should write it in your keywords. And formula of that theory in a separate note. The note only should contain main points that particular theory represent. Do not elaborate it, otherwise it will get messy. So again, I would like to tell you that do not write the complete theory in your short notes, because again it will become boring, again it will become very lengthy, and you will find it difficult to revise. While you are done with the 3 or more subjects, start revising the notes that you have taken previously. It's not that when you are making the short notes, you are just making the short notes and you are forgetting everything. What you are forgetting? You are forgetting that if there are 12 subjects, and when you think that I will make the short notes of all the 12 subjects first and then I will revise it, then this is a mistake. Find time for revising the previously made short notes of the previous subjects, because in that way it will have a clutter of different subjects, right? And you will find that after 1 month you have just made the short notes, you have not revised it. Okay, so when you are making the short notes, the previously made short notes of a particular subject should also be revised regularly. While practicing the example, just go through the notes only. It will save your time instead of reading the whole story. That is very important. So that is my strategy regarding the making of short notes. And one important point I have to tell you, that I have also told you in the previous slides, that after you have made a short notes based on your understanding of the concept, based on your solving the previous year questions, whatever important points, when you solve any test series, maybe 1 month before the exam, you solve full length mock test, right? So then also you will come across some theory question, maybe some important new concept that you find that, okay, this concept I have studied, but here when I am solving the question, a new kind of approach is there, a very easy approach, a very different approach is there. So just write it in the short notes. Okay, otherwise there is no point of giving the mock test. You don't check your marks, and do not get demotivated by giving the mock test. The mock tests are just the replica, or they are just a virtual imagine. Basically, they give you a virtual reality of the actual exam. Okay, so when basically that is how you have to utilize your mock test. Okay, do not get demotivated. I'm not getting good marks. You will learn something by giving the mock test, and obviously you will not. If you are getting very bad marks, definitely you have to see what shortcomings you have in your preparation. But do not get demotivated that if you have got 100 rank or 200 rank in your mock test, do not get demotivated. Just utilize your mock test. Okay, when you solve the mock test, whatever important points and formula you find, just put that in your short notes, and again after revision of your short notes, again go for another mock test. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you how you have to make the short notes. Let us say I have got the subject of thermodynamics. For example, I have experience of more than 5+ years. I have been teaching from such a long time. So all the concepts are in my mind here. Important formulas are in my mind here. See, although I have got experience of 5+ years in the teaching, so I have all the formula. So what? It is not that you are not having that experience. If you are studying from the last 1 year or 6 months, then also you have got everything regarding the subject. Okay, you have solved the questions, a particular kind of questions, right? So let us start the thermodynamics. In thermodynamics, how you can make the short notes. For example, you have to start a system. What is system? No, they are not going to ask a definition. So you don't have to write the definition. So in system, you have to see there are 3 types of system. Okay, you have to write it like this. Closed system, closed system. Just make a diagram like this, small diagram. In closed system, only energy interaction. Okay, and it is also called as closed system is also called control mass system. So whatever you find important, because you have been studying these theories from a long time, so you know what important points have to written for a particular topic. Similarly, you can write open system. What is open system? You can also write the examples also. Open system, what is an open system? It is both mass interaction, mass out, mass in, right? Energy in, energy out. And this is called control volume approach, control volume system. Okay, that is here the volume will be fixed. Volume will be fixed, and in that fixed volume the energy interaction will be taking place. So that you can write. Okay, we can also write the examples of the open system and closed system. Examples are boilers, turbines, pumps, okay, nozzles, and so many devices which works in the open system. In closed system, you can write pressure cooker before release of the gas. Okay, before release of the gas. Piston cylinder without walls. Piston cylinder without walls. So you can write the example also. Okay. So these are approach. One more important thing about this. The last is isolated system. Isolated system. See, I have written everything in just this particular space. This is how the short notes should be. They should not occupy much space, and in that particular space, everything should be written. In isolated system, you have to just write no mass and energy interaction. Neither there will be mass interaction, neither there will be energy interaction. Here, no mass interaction, only energy interaction. Okay. Isolated system example is universe and thermos flask. Okay. So you may find it very it may not be visible to you, but this is how you have to make your short note, very small. Okay. Then you have to write the properties. What are properties? Properties are characteristics of the system. So either you want to write the definition. If you don't want to write the definition, you can simply write what are the types of properties. The types of properties are, you can write intensive. Intensive, the word suggests mass independent. You can write some important example that you find that these examples are randomly asked in the exam. You can write this examples. For example, they are pressure, temperature, viscosity, thermal conductivity, density, specific heat. These are all some important properties which are asked randomly in the exams. Then you have to write this intensive properties and extensive property. You have to write mass dependent properties, which are mass dependent on the mass. Okay, so you can write examples. that is mass, volume, all kind of energy, all energies, they are all called as extensive property. One important point you have to write, that specific property. What are specific properties? Specific properties, that is extensive property per unit mass. Extensive property per unit mass is intensive property. All specific properties are intensive. For example, you can write specific volume, specific weight, specific enthalpy, specific internal energy. They are called intensive property. So very similar to that, let me hide myself so that I can use some extra space. So very similar to that, you can write about the process. Now the process can be of two types. Generally reversible process, which can be reversed, and a quasi-static process. Quasi-static means very slow process. Infinitely slow process. You can write it like infinite slow, and quasi-equilibrium, almost equilibrium process. That is called quasi-equilibrium process. Okay. Reversible process, that process which can be reversed, where the system can be brought to the initial point following a same path as in the forward direction. Okay, same path you have to follow, and you have to come back to the initial points, initial path. So reverse paths should be same as forward path. It in the opposite direction, and you should come to the same point. That is called reversible process, but there should not be any change in the surrounding. That is called reversible process. No change in surrounding. No change in surrounding. There should be no effect in the surrounding when a reversible process takes place. Okay. One more thing, that all reversible processes are quasi-static. This you have to write. All reversible are quasi-static. Write this. Quasi-static and frictionless quasi-static process. Quasi-static are reversible. Okay. So you have written everything. Now you can write the process. You can write that there are some thermodynamic process you have to write. See how I will be utilizing this board, this particular space. You can just see that. Now I'm writing the thermodynamic process. I am writing that isobaric. Just make a table like that. Isobaric, isochoric, okay, isothermal. So here you can see how I will be utilizing the space. Okay, adiabatic. Okay, after that we'll end the session, because otherwise I will be telling you a lot of things. Okay, you will just get an idea about how to make the short notes. Now isobaric means, you can write other name of isobaric is isopistic, which is also called constant pressure process. It is also called isovolumetric or isometric or constant volume process. It is also called isothermal, is also called hyperbolic. This is given by PV is equal to constant. Adiabatic, PV power gamma is equal to constant. And here the heat transfer is 0. You can write that this is a process where heat transfer is 0. Polytropic, PV power n is equal to constant. And always remember that this n is greater than 1 and less than gamma. Okay. So now I will be writing some important points. Now what is important? Ideal gas equation. Ideal gas equation for this. Ideal gas equation for different process. So ideal gas equation for isopistic or isobaric process is, because it is a constant pressure process, so V1 by T1 is equal to V2 by T2. This is for isovolumetric or isochoric. This is P1 by T1 is equal to P2 by T2. One more important thing, this isobaric process given by Charles' law. So Charles' law is said that for a given mass of a gas at constant pressure, the volume is directly proportional to temperature. Similarly, this law has been given by Gay-Lussac law. Gay-Lussac law, for given mass of a gas at constant volume, the pressure is directly proportional to temperature. This is given by Boyle's law. Boyle's law, where he said that at constant temperature, the pressure is inversely proportional to volume, or PV is equal to constant. This is a equation of hyperbola, you can say. Hyperbola, rectangular hyperbola, that is why it is called hyperbolic process. Adiabatic, no heat transfer, I have already written. And the equation is, there are three equations. T2 by T1 is equal to P2 by P1, gamma minus 1 by gamma, T1 V1 over gamma minus 1 is equal to T2 V2 over gamma minus 1, and P1 V1 over gamma is equal to P2 V2 over gamma. Okay, here you can write same equation as adiabatic. Just replace gamma with n. So I can write this, that ideal gas equation for polytropic are same as that of adiabatic, just you have to replace the gamma with n. Okay, very similar to that, you can also write this, that what are the heat work interaction for different process. Okay, so the work interaction for this work interaction, it is non-flow work for isobaric process is given by P of V2 minus V1. For this is equal to 0. Non-flow work, I'm talking about the non-flow work for different process. Hyperbolic, it is given by, or isothermal P1 V1 log of V2 by V1, or P1 V1 log of P1 by P2. You can also write this PV in terms of RT, MRT also. This is equal to P1 V1 minus P2 V2 over gamma minus 1. This is equal to P1 V1 minus P2 V2 over n minus 1. One more thing, you can write that work of open system is equal to closed system for an isothermal process. The work of open system is equal to closed system. For an adiabatic process, work of open system is equal to gamma times of work of closed system. And for this also, work of open is equal to n times of work of closed. Okay, this you have to remember. One more thing, the heat interaction. See how I am utilized my page. How I have utilized this small page. For isobaric process, you have to write what is the heat transfer for constant pressure process. For constant pressure, heat transfer is equal to change in enthalpy. What is enthalpy? It is equal to U plus PV. It is also called total heat content of the system. Similarly, isochoric process, the heat interaction is equal to constant volume is equal to change in du, internal energy, which is equal to mCV dt. For hyperbolic process, the heat interaction is equal to work interaction for a process. For adiabatic process, the heat interaction is 0, you know that. And for this, the heat interaction is equal to work of polytropic process into gamma minus n over gamma minus 1. Okay, one more important point, the polytropic specific heat, which is negative, and that is equal to minus CV of gamma minus n over n minus 1. These are some important points that are, you can see that how I have utilized this whole page. Last thing I would be telling you about the first law of thermodynamics. You can see how I can write this first law of thermodynamics. For first law of thermodynamics, let us write for closed system. Okay, closed system in a cycle. Okay, so you have to write that for a cycle. Cycle means where the system goes from one path to another path and returns back to original point for following a different path. That is called a cycle. This is called a cycle. Okay, so for this particular cycle, we can simply say that the net heat interaction is equal to net work interaction. This is called first law for a closed cycle. Okay, now for a process you get that first law is equal to, for a process the first law says that the del Q is equal to del W plus du, or it is equal to d. Okay, this is for a cycle, for a process. Okay, one more thing, the sign convention are important here, that heat going to the system is positive, heat coming out of system will be taken as negative, work done on the system will be taken as negative, work done by the system will be taken as positive. So these are the sign convention that you have to follow. Okay, there are some important conclusion of the first law. The conclusion you have to write. The conclusion are, first conclusion is heat transfer is a path function. Like work is a path function, heat transfer is a path function. Okay, so that you have to write. Second point is energy of an isolated system is constant. Energy of an isolated system constant. So this is one marks question that can be asked in the exam. See, I am telling you how to make short notes for different types of exam, not just for GATE or for ESE, for different types of exams. In some exam these points are asked in the exam. Okay. So, and last is PMM1 is not possible. PMM1 is that device which violates the first law of thermodynamics. Example is there is a device which is giving you work continuously without any energy input. There is no energy input, it is zero, but you are getting the work. For example, bike without petrol. You can write it like this simply. So this PMM1 will be violating the first law of thermodynamics. Similarly, you can write the first law of open system. It is very simple. For a steady flow, the equation you have to remember, the main equation. Steady flow means flow properties do not vary with time. That is called steady. It is called a steady flow. Okay, so for this particular, you can simply see that the equation is m dot of h1 plus v1 square by 2000. Why 2000? Because if this is in kilojoule per kg, then for making this is also in kilojoule per kg, you have to divide by 1000 plus gz1 by 1000. This is kinetic energy, this is potential energy, plus q dot is equal to m dot of h2 plus v2 square by 2000 plus g of z2 by 1000 plus work or power output. So this is the steady flow energy equation you have to remember. So similarly, this steady flow energy equation is different for different things, system, devices. For example, for turbine, after following some assumptions, you will be getting the work of turbine is equal to H1 minus H2. The compressor work is equal to, after allowing some assumptions, you have to also write the assumptions also. You can write for turbine. Turbine, there is no heat transfer, it is adiabatic, no potential energy change, no kinetic energy change. So these are the assumption, and after this assumption, you will be getting work is equal to this. Compressor, the work is just negative, it is H2 minus H1. Similarly, for pump also, it is equal to, work is equal to H2 minus H1. For boiler, heat is equal to, heat Q is equal to H2 minus H1, heat supplied. Okay, so this is how you, and for throttling device, what are throttling device you have to write? Throttling devices are those devices, for example, these are the devices, example, capillary tube, okay, porous plug, valve, these are called throttling devices. For throttling, it is highly irreversible process, highly irreversible. Okay. Enthalpy is constant. Enthalpy at the inlet is equal to exit. That is isenthalpic. It is also called isenthalpic. Okay, so this is some important points. So similarly, you can write everything for. You can use the same approach for everything. Okay, whatever I told you for this, whatever formula I have told you for in these 2 pages. Similarly, you can make the short note for all the complete subject of thermodynamics, for fluid mechanics, for every subject. So I cannot write you the formula like this, but now you have understood that because I have solved so many questions, because I know that from where question can be asked, I know everything what I have to put in my formula. So first thing is just revise all the subjects, solve the questions. Now we have got understanding that what formula is important, what you have to put in your short notes. Now you can start making your short notes. Okay. So this is an example. One more thing, that is, for example, you can write heat and work or path function. This is a question which is asked so many times. Path function and inexact differential, right? They are path function and inexact differentials. You can write all properties are point function. So because I know that in so many exams these things have been asked, whether it is a ISRO exam or CIL exam or Coal India exam, or we can say Weightage exam, SSCJ exam. These are some important 1 marks question which are asked, right? Even in the GATE exam also. All properties are point function, and all properties are the point function and exact differential. So they have to write all these things. For a cycle, change in property 0, because we have solved these questions. Okay, is 0. Similarly, these 3 statements regarding these things, that is, energy of an isolated system is constant. Energy of an isolated system is constant. Because I have got everything in my mind, so I can write everything in my short note. So you can see that I'm not referring to any book. I'm not watching any book. I'm simply talking to you. I'm just giving you the lectures. I'm writing the notes because I have everything here. Similarly, you have to firstly bring everything here after revision. After revision of your lectures or your original material and the previous year, then you have to write everything. Entropy, which is called degree of randomness. You can write degree of randomness. So when you make the short notes, you can also explain everything. Entropy is equal to del Q by T for reversible. You can write like this. And it is equal to del Q by T plus entropy generation for irreversible. Write like this, right? So everything can be written like this. Entropy of an isolated system always increases. Okay. And the last one is, what is exergy? Exergy, which is called available energy. Exergy of an isolated system always decreases. Because I know that these things have been regularly asked in the exam, so they are very, very important. What is exergy? Exergy is defined as, exergy is the maximum available work. It is called available energy or availability, right? It is that maximum available work which is obtained when the final state becomes dead state. That is called as exergy. Okay. It is also called available energy, and this for a heat engine, the exergy can be calculated at the maximum work is equal to Q of 1 minus T naught by T for a heat engine. T naught is the surrounding temperature, T is the temperature source. Okay. One formula is for loss of available energy. You can write like this. Loss of available energy is given by this formula, which is equal to Q into T naught 1 by T lower minus 1 by T higher. This is a formula for loss of available energy for an engine which is operating between two different high source temperature but rejecting the heat to sink only. So this is the formula for loss of available energy, which is also called irreversibility. Similarly, you can write the formula for irreversibility. Irreversibility is equal to what? Irreversibility is equal to T naught into ds. Okay. It is entropy change. This is T naught is the surrounding temperature or the ambient temperature. Okay. Similarly, you can write the availability function of open system, which is equal to H minus Ts, which is equal to Gibbs function. It is also called Gibbs function. But if you take the kinetic energy, potential energy, then this availability function is also equal to, for open system, H minus Ts plus mv square by 2 plus mvz. This is formula for availability function for open system, where kinetic energy and potential energy is also taken, but this is Gibbs function where we are not taking kinetic energy, potential energy. Again, you can write F is equal to U minus Ts, which is called Helmholtz function. Helmholtz function. Okay, and you can also write the availability function for closed system as U minus Ts plus P naught V. This is also formula for if you take external work, this is the surrounding work. If you take surrounding work in the closed system, then this is the formula. So this is how you have to make the short notes. Okay, I think I have told you almost up to exergy and first law of thermodynamics. Okay, so similarly you can make the short note for second law of thermodynamics or properties of substance. I can tell you how to make the short note, but that is how I will make my short notes. Okay, that is how I remember the things. So similarly, you have to make your own short notes in your own understanding like this. Okay. So before we end the session, before I end this video session, I have to tell you about some paid courses which are currently running right now, which is Gear Up, Rank Up. These are the paid courses for GATE 2021. Gear Up is a concept building course for GATE exam, GATE 2021, and Rank Up is a score improvement course. Already maybe some of you have enrolled, so I think that may not be important for you because very less time is left for GATE exam, so maybe this is not important. But Vision 2022 is a paid course for GATE and Engineering Services 2022. If anyone is willing to or thinking about preparation for GATE 2022, you can participate in this paid course. You can take a part in this paid course. You can join this paid course and you can start preparing for this GATE and Engineering Services 2022. Okay. So this is ideal for second year and third year engineering students who are right now in second year and third year. You can basically take this paid course and you can get benefited. Also, if you want to prepare, any repeated students who want to prepare for GATE and ESE, you can also take this Vision course. For more information, you can just call on this number. This is a list of the toppers who have got good rank from by following our paid courses of Gradeup. They have got good rank in the engineering services as well as in the GATE exam. Okay, so you can also take reference from these students. One more information, that is the last information regarding Gradeup Super. Gradeup Super is basically one subscription, or basically one subscription where you can get access to all our paid courses and all the Gradeup Green Card. You will get a Gradeup Green Card where you can attempt all the mock tests of Gradeup for different exams. Okay, so that is all the information, and I hope you have enjoyed this session of how to make the short notes. I hope this session might have helped you for your giving you an idea about making the short notes, because I would like to tell you one important thing, that if you will not make the short notes and you will think that I will just study everything, I will solve the question and I will keep everything in my mind like this. No. 1 or 2 days before the exam, when you will think about revising the concepts, then you will get very much nervous, you will get demotivated, you will take a lot of tension. So short notes are must. They are 100 or 200% must. You should make short notes. अगर अभी तक नहीं बनाया है, then make it now. अभी बना सकते हैं. You can make it now. Utilize this Diwali vacation. Start making your short notes. Right? Okay. So that is all in this session. And this Diwali week is going on. So enjoy. Happy Diwali, happy BYJU'S, and I will see you in some other session. Till then, take care everyone and have a good day. Thank you everyone. Also, if you like this session, then please also like hit the like button also. Thank you.